This session is on CRM and how you can use it to increase productivity, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. This presentation was originally delivered at the Interdyne Artist Vision 2019 User Conference, and I decided to present an online version and record it for the masses. My name is Jonathan Kroll. I'm the Senior Account Executive at Interdyne Artists. I'm a Tar Heel, and technology gets me excited. And hopefully it gets you excited as well. For our time today, I would like to answer the following questions.
And this is just stuff that comes up when I'm talking to prospective clients on the phone or in in-person meetings. So, what does CRM mean to you? What does CRM mean to Microsoft? Because I think those can be some different things sometimes. Why should we even care about CRM? How can I ensure that we get user adoption and ultimate return on our investment on our CRM project? And then, what everybody is actually trying to do is transform the business with new technology, and specifically how CRM could be that technology. So what does CRM mean to Microsoft? So they've changed the name to be Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement, but essentially they've got the core components of sales, customer service, and marketing. But what they've done is they've added some new application to extend the functionality into field service or project service automation. If you have folks that are out there doing work order fulfillment and dispatching, that's the field service app, and the PSA solution's more for those that are doing jobs or projects and they need to manage resources and tasks and scheduling. But what I want to focus on for the presentation today is a lot of these ancillary technologies. So to start off with this idea of the common data model. So this is sort of a broader view of trying to standardize your data that you have, across business applications and all the different entities and data that are across them, and having, instead of an account in CRM and a customer in your ERP software, right, you decide that it's going to be one of those names, and you can then start to standardize what you have across all of your systems. But what Microsoft is doing is giving you the ability to then take that sort of standardized data model and then build your own custom applications or do your own custom BI or analytics on top of that. And to take that a step further, so this is how they're actually accomplishing those custom apps and custom analytics, is through the Power Suite. So Power Apps is basically that CDS for apps, and this is essentially what the customer engagement applications are, right? It's built on Power Apps. It is the common data service. These are all the same thing. So all those sales, customer service, marketing, and field service, and PSA, those are essentially Power Apps that Microsoft has built, right? And then you just get access to those, but then you can extend them to build your own applications. And then with Power BI, you can do all sorts of great data visualization, and then you can start to do cross-application workflows to push data between systems with Flow, which is just Microsoft Flow, and there's also Logic Apps, which is a more enterprise version of that. And then you've got the native integration with all the Office tools as well, right? So where everybody likes to work and live in Outlook, Word and Excel, being able to export data out into these applications, using OneDrive and SharePoint for document management and storage, and then being able to utilize Teams and OneNote for some collaboration and note-taking. And we'll actually look at some of this stuff here in a little bit when we do a live demo. AI and machine learning. So Microsoft is investing a tremendous amount of money in AI today. And they're actually just going ahead and delivering these applications to the consumers. And they've already got some built for sales and customer service. There will be one for marketing and presumably the field service and PSA apps as well. They're also building in bots to be able to automate interactions with customers or vendors. We'll look at that here in a little bit. And then a relationship assistant application inside of the customer engagement apps to be able to bring relevant information to the user versus them having to go seek it out. Also some portals, right? So you can extend these systems to folks outside of your organization. Whether it's a customer or partner, you have some other custom portal for internal employees to do some type of activity. And then, Microsoft acquired LinkedIn a couple years ago, so they've now built in a connector for the Sales Navigator solution there, and we have a couple of slides on that as well coming up. So again, it's really the power of all of these other technologies with the customer engagement stack that can really deliver a full solution for any given organization. So as I was putting together this presentation, I just was Googling CRM stats, and I came across some very interesting ones. So as you see, just a consensus of, fewer than half of the features that come with the system, folks are actually using them, right? So they got all these other tools that they're not utilizing. And I just listed a whole bunch of stuff on that previous slide that could sort of fall in line with those tools that folks wouldn't use. But I'm going to talk about why you would, right? So then, a lot of customers are saying they would actually trade functionality for an easier system to use. Ultimately, having end user adoption issues, right? They're not getting folks just to buy in and start using the software. And, a lot of folks are reporting that just comes down to people, right? And those folks just not buying into that system. Yet somehow there's actually a general average ROI for CRM projects that folks are actually seeing a return on their investment. So we've got all these statistics that are saying people aren't using it and there's all these features that they don't need, yet they're actually seeing some real value out of these systems, and I plan to talk on why I think that's true. So I went from these stats and said, okay, Google, why would I even buy a CRM? And this is what came back. And a lot of these I sort of had in mind already. One that I thought was interesting was knowledge management. Call center, not everybody's going to have a call center, but right, this is what everybody wants to say. Oh, we got to make customers happy. We want to automate what's going on in marketing. We got to automate sales. We have to manage our channels better, and that's all fine and good. But, what I try to do then is sort of ask myself why anybody should invest in CRM, and I came up with 4 reasons. We'll go through each one of them. So number 1 would be to improve the customer experience, and this CX idea is somewhat new to the market as far as you're not trying to increase customer satisfaction necessarily. You want to increase the experience of them working with you because that's why they're going to buy from you anyways, and the first time and moving forward, right? So we have some stats on that's where everything is heading. People are going to buy from somebody for experience versus the product and price, but more importantly, I think, is the third bullet, which it talks about how folks are wanting to resolve issues and do things on their own, right? It's the Amazon experience. It's I just want to go out there and do what I need to do, interact with the human being when it comes to that point, but if I don't have to, I don't want to. And that's important for folks these days. So next would be just to improve the general accessibility to your data and just visibility into what's going on. So to break this out, having access from anywhere on any device. People talking about the improvement of efficiency. Yes, you can connect to anything, anywhere, and that's huge. Having tools that are just built into the product so that I can query my data, I can build out dashboards, I can start to visualize the data that I have in my system. Being able to get one view of what's going on with a customer. This idea of I can see everything in sales, what's going on with the projects that we're working on, what cases or issues they have going on, if there's any work orders that we're doing for this customer. And I don't have to go to multiple systems to see that. I can see it on one screen. And then just being able to extend this platform, right, and be able to configure it for what I need. Businesses change, needs change, so you have to have that opportunity to further develop it out. And then, integrate it with other systems, whether it's your ERP or some other operational platforms. So this is one that everybody talks about. We've got to be more productive. Nobody ever talks to anybody in the office. I don't know what the heck the people in sales are doing because they're not doing anything in the system, right? So being able to have the tools that makes it easy to collaborate and actually does increase productivity, and then having those tools built into your operational system so that the data is accessible from everywhere, right? That's huge for folks, and we're going to look at some tools that we can help deliver that. Being able to have cross-workload functionality, so again, sort of that idea of it's not just sales in the sales tool, it's not marketing in their own marketing platform, and then all of the service delivery folks are in their whole other system. It's everybody working on one database. And I've been harping on this, so it's just that full delivery of customer service in one platform. All right, so we're going to move over to demo time and show some stuff. So I pulled out a few scenes. We'll look at the integration with Office and Dynamics, a little bit on the LinkedIn Sales Navigator integration, and then we'll take a look at how there's actually a chat integration, how you can use bots to, again, automate some of the interaction with your customers. We've got a couple of different portals, a customer and a partner portal. And then a tool that I just kind of like, which is gamification, which is just bringing, really just gamifying the workplace, being able to drive some competition internally. And then Power BI just because it's fun to look at some dashboards. So to start off, as far as what we'll look at with this integration, you'll see that the Dynamics 365 app lives within the Office 365 tenant, so you get this single sign-on experience. And then you have the integration with Outlook, which is really nice, and then we'll look at how, again, you can try to drive some productivity and collaboration with Teams and using OneNote for note-taking, and then document management and storage with SharePoint. So as you see, again, Dynamics just lives right in here with all the other apps. So you're not having to log in and out of different systems. You're not going in to put in your authentication multiple times. So this is probably my favorite piece right here, which this is just the Outlook app, or the Outlook web app, excuse me. And essentially what you would do is launch the Dynamics 365 tool with this little D here, and you get this window pane on the side that you can actually start to take activity. So I could actually track this email into CRM. I could then actually start to just look at some general information about the account. And what's happening here is it's recognizing Dustin's email address and pulling back the information that he's associated with or related to in CRM. So this is the Georgetown account. And I can see the revenue, see just, again, some general information, scrolling down, looking at any projects or open items with them. And then I can just start to take action and do stuff, right? So I can say I want to create a new opportunity. He was looking for a quote on this audio-visual system, so I can immediately create that opportunity in CRM without having to leave Outlook, right? So this is that productivity increase right here because I'm not having to switch applications, right? And then I can save that and go ahead, and the email is now tracked towards this opportunity in CRM, and everything would be visible in the web app if anybody would just happen to be looking in there. Now, if there's any questions on this stuff, don't hesitate to stop along the way, right? So D365 and Teams. Teams is a tool that we just recently started using internally, and I find it extremely useful. But we're starting off in the web app for project service automation. And essentially, we just go to this little waffle in the top so that we can switch over to Teams. And basically what we're doing here is we're going to start a conversation with the project team related to this Georgetown AV system, right? So I'm going to come in here and type a message that I want somebody to go and take a look at the hours that I've put into the system. And, okay, everything looks good. So what we're going to do is just jump over to essentially what the CRM app is, but it's brought to us directly into Teams, right? So it looks and feels exactly like the same way it did in the web app. Then I can go in here, change the hours to 16, and then advance this to the next stage, right, because we have this business process flow that helps us follow exactly what our project implementation would be. And this is now at the quote stage, so I can go back to the conversation and then enter into the sales rep that's working on this deal, say, hey, the quote is ready to go, and now that they're going to get that message in their box, and they can jump right over and start to deliver the quote to the end customer. So again, it's increasing the productivity that you're not having to jump in between applications to do the work that you need to do. I have all of my notes in OneNote. I absolutely love it. But being able to bring that directly into the system makes it easier for other people to see everything that I'm taking my notes on, and then you can have everybody working in the same notebook across the company, so everybody's sharing the same notes. But again, it's built right in here to CRM. So I can simply click that note. Brings me out to the OneNote online. I could actually open this in the local version of OneNote if I wanted to, but then I see all of the notes that have been going on with this account. And again, you can have everybody working and note-taking in the same place. And then briefly about the document storage. So this is, again, just in the web app, but as one of the tabs here, you have the document section, and you got all the history that's been going on as far as all saved documents. And you can drill into this and actually go and look into SharePoint as well. Again, it's just another way to access all of these documents, and they're all being stored in the SharePoint repository. So some obvious benefits that I've been talking about, but being able to reduce the learning curve of a new hire onto a system, or just the folks when you're transitioning off of your legacy systems, because they're using the same applications like Outlook or Teams or OneNote that they've been using before. And then being able to increase the productivity and collaboration, not just talking about it, but actually putting action behind it with the different tools that we have access to. Spending less time on data entry, and then again having that full view of what's going on with an account from one place. All right, so this is again somewhat of a new tool since Microsoft acquired LinkedIn, but what we'll take a look at is how you can synchronize data between the two systems. It actually does recommend some different things that you can then build sales relationships, trying to increase your social selling, and then you can actually create some customized content for your prospects within the Sales Navigator tool. We'll look at that tool as well. So this is just right in CRM again. So we have this relationship assistant piece that I talked about before. So it's letting you know, hey, you actually have an email that you didn't read that's going on related to this opportunity. You may want to go open that email and take a look at what's going on and sort of scroll over and take a look at new stuff. So not only is that you have an email there, but it looks like it has a new stakeholder included, and it can start to, again, bring information to you. Maybe this opportunity is close to closing and it wants to give you a notification on that as well. But we're going to scroll down to the LinkedIn member profile section. So this is our Nancy Anderson, who's the contact that's been identified for this opportunity. And I can see, all the sorts of icebreakers and things that can help me get into the conversation with Nancy right here in CRM. But, I could just jump back out to actual the profile that is in Sales Navigator, and this is where you can start to deliver some customized content for Nancy Anderson. Right, so we'll just come up here and be able to go to the solution called Point Drive. And this is basically just building an online website that I can then deliver a link to Nancy that's going to have whatever content that I want her to see. So we can go and build that out, and you can put any sort of pictures. It's highly configurable as far as what you want to have templated out here. Oop, I went a little fast. So again, you can just start to customize this for Nancy, and then be able to put in whether it's videos or some sort of customer collateral, whatever you want her to access. So just some benefits out of the LinkedIn Sales Navigator solution and being able to integrate that with Dynamics 365, bringing that information directly into the CRM application without having to jump around. Again, you can improve your social selling. You can see who else may know Nancy, who can get you into this opportunity a little bit deeper. And then you can create those custom experiences for your customers to improve the selling process as well. All right, portals. Thought chat was next. We'll go to portals. So we'll get two portals, bag it up. Partner portal, where you can just manage your general relationships, your partners, distribute out opportunities, provide access to your knowledge base, and then similarly with the customer, being able to give them access to the knowledge base and track all sorts of KPIs, but then they could also enter in cases if they needed to, if there was an issue. So we'll take a look at all that. So we'll start with the partner portal, and you'll notice that between the customer and the partner portal, they're very similar. Again, it's just opening up the customer engagement database to external users, so it's the same content in the background, but this is just a general user interface for what the partner could have, being able to go and potentially become a new partner, so you can have a whole registration process built into here, where they can go and capture the specific data about their company, whatever it is that you need. Keep hitting the button too fast. You can also put in, as far as confirmation, if you want to require somebody to go and check these, before somebody can officially become a partner, those types of things. That's all built into the system. And then, so if you actually become a partner, right, so this would be just sort of your login dashboard. You can see what opportunities you have out there and the revenue associated with them. You can see some distributed opportunities that are coming your way that you may want to accept. The open opportunities that you have, and just more KPIs and charts that we have here. But, simply to be able to accept an opportunity, so let's say if we're the partner, we can click on that. We can review exactly what's been going on here, right? It's been captured by the internal user at your organization, and then simply say, okay, do you want to accept or decline? Yeah, we'll accept that. And then, are you sure you want to accept it? Definitely, we are sure we want to take this one. And then you can see that there's no more distributed opportunities there. I now have this opportunity right here and the managed opportunities, right? So automatically updating the system there. And then they can actually take work on that, right? So they can open this opportunity and start to enter in more information. For example, the revenue wasn't 80,000. It's actually a lot bigger than we thought it was going to be. And then you can also add some content, or some comments, excuse me. So yes, we have a bigger opportunity at hand, but it's actually being blocked because we have an issue with the hardware that they currently have, right? So we need to get this resolved. Now, again, we were talking about that self-service, the ability to be able to look in and take care of things on your own. So your partners could have access to all the knowledge base and essentially just come up and search for hardware issues and start to look at some articles that you've published and see if that's helpful. It doesn't seem to be, right? So you can also have the partners be able to go and put in a support case with you and say, hey, I need some help with this hardware situation that we have blocking a deal. So essentially the ability just to open a new case and enter that in. Similarly, again, the partner portal or the customer portal is going to look and feel a lot like the partner portal. But again, you can configure these to look and feel how you want, depending on what content you want to deliver to those folks. But KPIs on all the cases that I have going on. The ability to search around. So be able to say, okay, I just want to look at an article on just the shelf life of ink because I've got a lot sitting on the shelves. And some cool stuff here, so you can see that you can allow folks to actually rate and add comments to these articles, which will actually play into some of the gamification stuff we'll look into later. But somebody can come down here and say, yeah, this is great. I really appreciate the information you guys have. You can also create forums on your website or your portal. So, being able to have collaboration with your customers. They can go and make posts. You can interact with them. They can interact with other customers, right? That's just a great place to have good content, good information for your customers and vendors, for that matter. But you can actually give them the ability to go and enter those posts, right? So I'm just going to give a temp on aligning the printer heads. Yeah, make sure that you put it all the way in, right? Of course. And also being able to search the knowledge base. So this will actually lead into a case and then ultimately into our next section, which is the chat and bots. So, I have an issue. I need to fix my printer. I can go and look at what's going on. So here's an article on how to run a Microsoft Easy Fix solution, if you've ever heard that before. Look at that 1 star. So obviously this is a good article. It's very helpful. So the customer can run through this and essentially get frustrated because they're not getting the answer they need and open up this case. So again, you can, similar to what we looked at for the partner portal, capture the information that you need to have in your system for these cases. And still not working, let's go ahead and submit that. So we now have a new case in our system, and this is a nice transition to as far as what we're going to next, but let's talk about some benefits of these portals. So it's the ability to easily onboard new folks, just giving access of all the information you have in your system to your customers and your partners, or anybody that you need to that's external of your company, so that they can get the data they need when they need it, and then they can easily update opportunities, create new cases, do the activities that are actually important to them as far as their business. Now here's some cool stuff. So chat and bots. We're going to look at a chat bot. So managing a case via chat and the customer service app, and how you can escalate the case, and then there's also a pretty neat sales rad bot, which just the name alone is pretty cool.
What's rad?
I don't know, it's a good 80s term, right? Rad. So we're back in that same customer portal. Doug had just entered in that case in our previous demo segment. So essentially what we have now is this chat feature, right? So we're open that up, and hello, we got the service bot ready to interact with us, and we can expand that out to have a bigger window pane to enter. So essentially, the customer can then start to interact with this bot. Okay, I've got a question about my printer. Give me the model number. All right. Okay, have you looked at these articles that could help potentially resolve the issue that you have? And again, this is still the service chatbot interacting with it. And the customer starts to get frustrated, and the bot can actually recognize that sentiment and say, oh, okay, would you like to actually talk to a person now? Yeah, we can actually get you an agent. Just hold on tight, and we'll transfer you. So what I've done here is switched over to the customer service representative role, right? I'm just sort of on my dashboard here, as it would be my home screen, but on the right side I can see that there's actually a new chat that's been initiated over here that needs some attention, and I can just expand this out. And what it does is actually shows the entire chat conversation right here, but it also gives a lot of context as far as what's been going on with the bot in the previous conversation. So we can just get some information on who the person is and where they're from. So the CSR can then start to come in here and interact with the customer. Thank you for contacting support. Let me review the case. I'll be right with you. Right. So then the CSR can look at some of the history as far as where the customer has been navigating on the website up to the point that they actually engaged with the chatbot. Can exit out of that and come back over here and start to take action on the case itself. And again, we have this business process flow that's built in to show me exactly what I need to do at each and every stage of the case resolution process. So I've identified who this person is, and they actually have the Premier Service entitlement, so we better give Doug some good customer service. So now we're going to go and do some research as far as what's going on with the issue, right? So we're going to go back to Doug and have a conversation. So have you done the factory reset? And no, doesn't know how to do that. So within the chat application, you can actually launch a co-browsing session, which is essentially launch this, get the allowance from Doug, and then we can then start to co-browse with him and go look through our knowledge base articles. So we'll go ahead and enter in that model number that he had for his printer, and then we have the factory reset article. And I can just simply point out, okay, here's the 3 buttons that you want to press to do that reset. So go and do those for 5 seconds, and then let me know how it goes, Doug. So I've now completed my research stage, and we have moved over to the resolve stage of our business process flow, and we'll find out how that worked for Doug. How do you think it worked? It didn't work. So as the customer service representative, I can then say, allow me to escalate this to management so that we can get a quicker resolution for you. And of course, Doug is in favor of that. So we scroll down and we go ahead and notch this as, yes, we need to escalate it. But we can also come back up and start to enter in just some context for the management team that will come in and work on this. So we had looked through the knowledge base articles and looked how to do the reset. So just attaching that here and letting them know. Also, I want to enter in a note. This is a high-value customer. We should probably just replace the item, give Doug a discount, something to make him happy. He's on the Premier Service package. So the next is that sales RadBot. So jumping out of the CSR life and being more of the sales representative, so we're just working on an opportunity here. We're adding some product line items. The out-of-the-box suggestions still here, right? Okay, so when people buy their printer, you may want to sell them a scanner too. Let's go ahead and add that to the list. But what could be, to further that example, would be to bring some information to that sales rep to say, to still try to upsell while giving the customer some incentives as well. So you can scroll up to this RadBot and just go ahead and type in what discounts are available right now. Okay, well, so there is a 10% discount when you purchase 3 or more printers. Well, we had 3 or more printers on our line item. And there's actually an increased discount if they get the 1-year protection plan, right? So then I can go back to the customer and say, hey, by the way, we can get you even more of a discount. All you need to do is add our protection plan and essentially just come in and add that product directly into our line items, the extended warranty, and now we've upsold the customer, but they're also getting some benefit because they're getting an additional warranty on their equipment, right? So this is being able to use this bot technology within the application to say, okay, hey, here's some information. All you have to do is ask it a question, and it'll bring some content back to you to help with your sales process and help upsell. So this is that customer experience enhancement we were talking about earlier as far as being able to give folks the information they need, and it's online whenever they want it. You can automatically route cases to the right resources, be able to escalate things when needed and take care of your customers. You have a collaborative tool to be able to get to this resolution making. Again, everybody's working in the same place. and then you can effectively cross-sell and upsell, and your sales reps don't have to think about it because, let's be honest, the salespeople really think that much anyways. I'm a salesperson, so I can say that.
Think about games.
We do think about games, Paul. Thank you. So what we're going to take a look at in this section, so this is the gamification tool that was built into the, I guess Microsoft probably acquired it and then just built it into their overall customer engagement solution. So you can create competitions and have leaderboards and KPIs and all sorts of statistics here. The idea is to try to drive some competitiveness within your company, right? And maybe even give some incentives for folks to excel in their positions. So this is just a look at a leaderboard, but what we can do is create a new game. And you have all of these different options as far as what the theme would be. And essentially what you're going to do is, give it a name, decide what the actual game itself will be, and then you're going to decide what the actual KPIs that you're going to do to create the game, right? So there's all of these different things that are built into the system. And again, this is something that I mentioned earlier as far as you can even push that out to some of the portal type of activity where, if somebody's actually commenting on an article or you're getting, stars for the articles that you've written, you can actually bring that back to a game and make it competitive. But also some of the other just more salesy things like how many leads are you getting, how many phone calls are you making, how many opportunities are you winning, what's your pipeline looking like. So you can just decide what that data point is that you want this particular game to be on. You can do leads created for this one and then just start to assign some points for every lead that you get or that you create. And then next you just go and create the teams, right? So you can start to assign the different players, which are just the users that are in the CRM system, right? So you can just start to fill those in. And then you can also extend this to folks that maybe aren't actively competing in the game. So if you want to have fans that can be able to see what's going on with the leaderboard and all the different statistics, if there's just other users in the system that you want to give that available to, simply add those. And then you can put the awards in to, again, give those incentives for folks to try to do better. And then just start the game. And this is just going to track all of that activity going on, based on the due dates that you have for the start and end of that particular game. And then you can, publish these on a big TV screen in the middle of the office so everybody can have that office banter about what's going on. It looks like Ryan is currently winning with 3 whole leads. So again, just trying to drive some competition and maybe even collaboration, increasing what the performance of your individual people are in the company. And then, ultimately, you're having to enter in this content into the system, right? So you're actually increasing the user adoption of the business application itself while awarding folks for doing so. Now, of course, nobody thinks, I want to just award people for doing their job, but why not actually, again, get that efficiencies by getting folks to use the system itself. Okay, so you have to give them an award to do that, but it actually increases the overall company productivity. Finally, we just had some Power BI dashboards to look at. Again, this is just a data visualization tool. If you've never used Power BI before, it's really powerful. You can connect it to multiple systems, and there are some pre-built connectors for the customer engagement apps, and there's all sorts of built-in reports and dashboards, and that's actually what we'll look at today. So all of these were just built for the sales app, right? So you can just have the general information that you would want to look at. This would just kind of be a home screen dashboard, but you can interact with this as well. That's really all the content that we had for this. So if anybody has questions on any of the stuff or anything that we didn't talk about.
What's the LinkedIn? Where is that plugging in? Is that your user account?
No, it's so the LinkedIn Navigator, what is it, the user that it's recognizing, you would have to have a Sales Navigator license, that user would, to be able to connect that to Dynamics 365, and it is for the users, not the company or the organization. That's really what LinkedIn is. It's not intended to be company-based. It's intended to be individual based?
Yeah, although, so the difference between Sales Navigator on the LinkedIn side and just a regular LinkedIn account is Sales Navigator is like the paid one where you basically have paid them to be able to see connections you wouldn't be able to see otherwise. So if it was just your personal account, you can only talk to people that you're, 1 degree or maybe 2 degrees away from, right? Whereas with this one, you can actually do searches and that kind of stuff. But again, it is as you. So with the April release of customer engagement, they've added similar capability, but just for your actual LinkedIn account. So you can see some of this stuff, but again, it's connections you've built, so it's not as powerful as the Sales Navigator.
Okay. Well, then we'll make it a quick one today. That's it, guys.